I graduated from college and I knew that I wanted to go into nonprofit, but I wasn't sure how. And so I decided to be a kindergarten teacher, and that was going good for a little bit. But then I still had that passion to like want to help people, give back to my community. And so I decided to become an AmeriCorps Vista, which is like Peace Corps, but for America kind of. But it allows you to have an entry-level position in nonprofit. And so I was looking, and there wasn't anything that was really piquing my interest, and then North Fifth Street Revitalization Project came up. They had an AmeriCorps Vista position available. And so I grew up in Olney. Like, I grew up in Olney, Longcrest. I went to Girls High. So, like, I know this neighborhood. Like, we were originally from New York, and we moved here when I was 13, and it was I was so dramatic as a 13-year-old. No! I hated it until we went to Fifth Street, because Fifth Street looks a lot like New York. Like, it reminds me of Church Avenue. It's just like a lot of different cultures, a lot of people, a lot of hustle and bustle. And so when this opportunity came up, I was really excited to apply for it. And I interviewed and I got the position, and 7 years later, I'm still here. Yeah.
Oh, that's a long time.
It is a long time. A very long time.
You got the PhD at the company, man.
Yo, Philly, listen up to all our small business owners.
Not just our small business owners, also our entrepreneurs, our creators, our dreamers, our doers.
This is Small Business Saturday. Every week we're dropping knowledge about small businesses. Man, you know what? Just listen to the podcast.
But we try to do a cool intro. But however, we promise the podcast, we will be dropping gems, we will be dropping knowledge, we will be dropping the tools you need to succeed in your small business.
All right, so every week, every Saturday, stay tuned with Small Business Saturday.
Let's get it.
I put on for my city, home for my city. I put on for my city, home for my city.
Okay, everyone, we're tuning in for yet another episode of Small Business Saturday. We're here with Mac and also the beautiful Stephanie Michel. She's the director of the North Fifth Street Revitalization Project. She offers planning, coordination, and implementation support of the four North Fifth components, which are cleaning, safety, business assistance, and community. As a director, Stephanie applies her passion and talent toward engaging North Fifth Street's residents and merchants. A little bit more information about them. So they're located in the heart of Philadelphia's Olney neighborhood. North Fifth Street is brimming with over 340 unique businesses and an exceptional variety of restaurants. The incredible array of the exciting new places you find along North Fifth Street is a reflection of diversity of the many countries our residents represent. North Fifth Street, where global is local. I'm excited now reading about this. Like, I mean, especially growing up around the Olney neighborhood too. I'm definitely excited to dig in and just learn more about your project.
Cool.
Wait, so for clarification real quick,
Yeah.
Stephanie. So you're saying Olney. Is that how you pronounce it?
Hey, look, this is a whole debate. They say Olney.
Wait, is it
Everybody
Olney?
says it so
everyone
different.
says
I
it
say it
different.
like two different ways. So I say Olney,
Yeah.
and then there's Olney.
That's a whole third one.
If you're in Olney, you gotta say Olney,
Olney.
because they'll know you're not from there.
Maybe it's like one of those like pronunciations, like spelled out.
Olney. Not only. We're at 3 syllables, okay?
That's so funny.
I love that last line there, where global is local.
Yes.
Talk about that.
So Olney, our zip code is the most linguistically diverse zip code in all of Pennsylvania.
Yes.
So even on our corridor on North Fifth Street, you'll find businesses that are Korean-based, Vietnamese, Chinese, Jamaican, Trinidadian, Mexican, Guatemalan. We have it all in our community, which is why we use that tagline, where global is local.
That's great. Who came up with that?
We did. When we learned that fact that we were diverse and like that's our strongest asset. So we love like Olney. When you come there, it's not like other neighborhoods where it's mostly Latino or it's mostly this, it's mostly that. It's very diverse and everybody gets along. So that's our strongest asset. Like people, whenever you're talking to them and you're like, what do you love about this neighborhood? So we do a lot of surveys. We engage with businesses and residents to see like, why do you like living here? And people will always say that it's diverse, the diversity that you like, everyone is welcome, which is really cool. And you don't find that in a lot of neighborhoods in the city. So that's why we use that tagline.
So how did it come about? Like what was the mission behind it when you first started it?
So I didn't start the organization. It started back in 2007, 2008.
Okay.
A woman named Barbara Bishop, she owns Bishop Funeral Home, which is at 5th and Somerville. She saw a decline in the neighborhood. She worked in Center City and she would come home and she just saw that things weren't the same. Like businesses were leaving. That's when a lot of white flight happened. And so she wanted to put some effort back into the corridor, into the community. And so she applied for this grant with the Commerce Department. And so that's how North 5th Street Revitalization Project started. Was from a business owner seeing the need for extra support to keep the businesses alive. So you see a lot of corridors throughout the city where there aren't that many businesses, or just like everything has closed down. It's mostly like big box stores now.
Yes.
But if you come to 5th Street, knock on wood, we're pretty lucky to have like a pretty vibrant and active corridor. So we have a low vacancy rate of about 10 to 11%, depending on the month.
From like a retail business perspective, okay.
Yep, retail. We also have restaurants. We have wholesale stores. It's a wide variety on North 5th Street.
It's a huge support of small businesses in general.
Yes. What area does this all cover?
So we cover from 5th and Spencer to 5th and the Boulevard.
Okay.
So it's a 1.5 mile stretch. We have 14 blocks on our corridor and about 360 to 370 businesses.
Now, how were you brought up? Like, how were you brought into this?
Such a good story.
Oh my gosh! I wish you guys would have seen the smile she just gave right now. She just blushed, so you know it's gonna be good.
Let's go.
No, that's good. I mean, we can already tell you're passionate about this, which is important.
Yeah, I love what I do. I graduated from college and I knew that I wanted to go into nonprofit, but I wasn't sure how. And so I decided to be a kindergarten teacher, and that was going good for a little bit. But then I still had that passion to like want to help people, give back to my community. And so I decided to become an AmeriCorps Vista, which is like Peace Corps, but for America kind of. But it allows you to have an entry-level position in nonprofit. And so I was looking, and there wasn't anything that was really piquing my interest. And then North 5th Street Revitalization Project came up. They had an AmeriCorps Vista position available. And so I grew up in Olney. Like, I grew up in Olney, Longcrest. I went to Girls High. So, like, I know this neighborhood. Like, we're originally from New York, and we moved here when I was 13. And it was I was so dramatic as a 13-year-old. I hated it until we went to 5th Street, because 5th Street looks a lot like New York. Like, it reminds me of Church Avenue. It's just like a lot of different cultures, a lot of people, a lot of hustle and bustle. And so when this opportunity came up, I was really excited to apply for it. And I interviewed and I got the position, and 7 years later, I'm still here. Yeah.
Oh, that's a long time.
It is a long time. A very long time.
You got the PhD at the company, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's either you love what you do or Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah. Might be a little bit of both.
JK, she absolutely loves what she does.
I love what I do.
You probably know or have met so many amazing small business owners.
I have, yeah. That's the best part, is just building relationship with the business owners as well as the community. Like, so when I first started, my job was to be like a community program coordinator. So we got to plan like fun events. We do open mic night every second Friday at the church.
What's that for, like singing or comedy? Or,
singing.
Everything.
We've had accordion players. We've had dancers. We've had storytellers. So it's just an open stage.
Just for the community to come and just share their talents.
Yeah, and it's so amazing. Like, it's like a family feeling.
Okay.
We have a band. We get food from a local business. So it's really chill, but it's such a staple because you don't have that often in communities where people can just get on stage and do whatever they like. We've had a puppet master, which was a little weird, but it was still cool because it's like
different,
everybody's so supportive and just like really engaging, which is awesome.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
bless you. It's so good.
You probably have like a lot of really good stories from being involved with this, like a lot of the things you've seen and things you've experienced.
Oh man.
Is there anything that stands out that you want to share? You guys don't have like any parade or festival or anything?
We do.
Okay.
So
When?
we have the Olney Youth Arts Festival. It's every year in October.
Okay.
So one good story is our office is on a block on 5th Street, and there's a barbershop down the street, and these kids have just started coming to our office. Like, they come and hang out. And so like so our title is like corridor manager.
Okay.
We manage the corridor. And so we're also like social workers. Like that's how I feel. We're social workers for business owners, for the community. But we also just do whatever, like people come in and ask the most random things. And so we do our best to provide that information to the community. So these kids are like 5, 8, and 10. And they've seen us a couple of times. They won a raffle from one of our community events. We did a back to school drive last summer, and they just fell in love and now just show up at our office whenever they're on the block. And they were like, oh yeah, you guys do that festival. When is that happening again? And we're like, which one? And they're like, the one around the corner where the kids are dancing and they're doing all this stuff. We were dancing too. And that was like, that's our mission, is to be able to create memorable experiences for the people in our community. So we have the Olney Youth Arts Festival. It's every year in October. We're celebrating our 7th one in October. We do something called the Olney Winter Festival. We get Santa, we get a trolley, we get toys donated from Toys for Tots.
This is crazy. I had no idea you guys are doing this.
I know, a lot of people don't, and that's our biggest hurdle that we need to jump through, is that we're doing the work, but people don't know that we're doing the work. Unfortunately, like we have a trick or treat on North 5th Street. So on Halloween, we give candy to the businesses. We do a scary photo booth in front of our library, and kids just like come out, walk around. And it's a really fun.
But I'm assuming this is just something like people that live within that community know about, right?
Yeah.
So at least it's still getting around.
Yeah, and it's growing a lot. So like this past Halloween, we had over 300 people just walking up and down 5th Street, which was really, really cool.
Did you dress up?
I dressed up in a hamburger suit because I just throw it on. But yeah, it's fun.
You're just handing out hamburgers?
Yeah.
You're the hamburger.
First off, he's still a hamburger. It's not a hamburger.
Right.
Is it a coincidence that the Youth Arts Festival also started 7 years ago? Or did you have something to do with that?
I didn't. I wish I could. But someone who sits on our board, Ambrose Liu, he was a part of an initiative that started right when I joined the team called Arts Rising. But it was a grant-funded thing, and that ended. And before that, he was doing a choir festival at local schools, but he knew that there was this need for something bigger, like an outdoor event. And so he was like, what do you guys think about this? And we were like,
so excited.
We love that. Well, we have your back. So we had people from the local church, from the school, ShopRite. All these people came together to throw this event back in 2013. And it's been going on ever since.
It's inclusive, though. It's not like you have to live in...
No, so we have dance groups from all over the city come out and perform. We try to focus like on our local groups. So we have Esperanza, other local dance groups come out and perform, but it's everybody's invited.
Have you picked up any Spanish living in the area?
Well, I studied Spanish in school, so I'm pretty good.
¿Tú hablas español?
You gotta come so you can practice in real life on 5th Street.
Well, you've heard how many languages probably living in that area?
A lot, yeah.
Everything.
There's over 36 languages spoken in the local schools. Which is a lot.
How do you deal with that as a teacher? It's like,
I don't know.
It's like, what'd you call me?
No, that's always the worst, especially having to deal with parents that has different, different language dialects. I remember when I used to work in a school, that was a big thing too, because how are we sending home information for like parents to read over if they can't even read English?
Right.
And I remember that was
so that's what we deal with as when we're dealing with our business owners, because we do like announcements or newsletters for the business owners so that they know like resources and opportunities happening across the city.
So we get the message
exactly.
Across,
We do it in Spanish and English, but
there's a
so
Vietnamese
many,
community,
right? Korean, like everything. Yeah.
Are there any misconceptions when it comes to like what it is you guys do? Because I was looking at the name of the business or the organization, and I was like, is it only on North 5th Street? Is it like a surrounding area?
That's a
is
great
this
question.
like a directory of businesses? I wasn't sure exactly. So like, have you experienced that before? And like, what would your answer to that be?
There isn't a misconception, because I think people just don't know what revitalization project means. Like, what are you actually doing?
So can you explain that for those that are listening and don't know?
So our main mission is to revitalize the community and ignite civic pride, like community pride, as well as to provide and improve the quality of life in Olney. So we assist the businesses. That's our main focus, is technical assistance for the businesses on Fifth Street, and that's because of our funding currently. So we're funded through the Commerce Department for their targeted corridor management program grant, and so that is what really has us focusing on Fifth Street. But like, we know that to do work in a community and to support businesses, you got to look at the whole thing. So we don't exclude people who aren't on Fifth Street. We do our best to like support residents as well, which is why we do like a lot of community activity. But did I answer your question?
Yeah, I mean, like a good neighbor, North Fifth is there.
Yeah. That's perfect.
That's true.
Like a good neighbor. No, so essentially, just to kind of break down what she just said, like she wants to bring that pride back into, be prideful of your neighborhood, be prideful of just kind of, recycling those dollars within your neighborhood too, and supporting one another and supporting the local businesses. That's amazing. Yeah. Congratulations on what you're doing. That's good.
Unfortunately, a lot of people think negative things. Like in the media, Olney is only when there's gunshots, there's
so much more than that.
Yeah, and it's like, they're a really good thing. Like, we have a jazz festival on, like, in the summertime in Fisher Park. And Fisher Park is, like, a beautiful park that you don't, like, the only other park that's similar to Fisher Park is probably Clark Park in West Philly.
Okay.
Where it is. But there's great things happening in our neighborhood, but people don't know about. They're just like, it's not safe, and this happened, and that happened. But, like, that happens everywhere.
Are you guys, like, marketing this in any way, or...
We're trying.
Okay.
So because we're funded by the government and it limits what we can do, like we're not allowed to market or promote currently, which we're looking for other grants.
So like that even on social media pages or anything?
Oh yeah,
like
we're on social media.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to step our game up. But
what are your social pages?
On Facebook, we're North Fifth spelled out.
Oh.
And on Twitter and Instagram, we're North, the number 5 TH Street.
Gotcha. Okay. I was gonna ask, actually how you came up with that name. Is it just because the main office is on North Fifth Street, or is it like North Fifth Street is like really popular where most businesses in Olney are?
I would say it's where most business. So we're like a main street. So like when you think of like Ardmore or Ambler, and you think of their main street, North Fifth Street is that for Olney. And so like that's where the name came from, is that focusing on the main street of the community and revitalizing that in hopes that it spreads out into the community.
That's so good. Yeah, I used to go to Carnegie before I transferred over to community.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and then I used to go to Speed Up for after school program. Wow. So I was up and down Fifth Street all the time on the bus to get from one to the other. So I'm really familiar with the neighborhood.
That's so cool.
And my first boyfriend lived there on Fifth and Olney.
Oh, now it's coming out.
There's that.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's so cool.
She hates that area.
That's so funny.
That's funny.
So if I were to get there from here, like let's say I'm coming from Center City via public transit, like what's the easiest way to get there?
The 47, just straight up Fifth Street, or the Broad Street line. Get off at Broad and Olney, then take the 18 or the 26 down to Fifth Street. Okay. Or you could even take the regional rail and get off at the Olney transportation stop, which is like a little bit off of Fifth Street, but then you can take a bus up to Fifth and Tabor. Okay. I'm going to ask some questions, and it's about things that are delicious, like restaurants. Yes.
O'Terry's?
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
What is that?
O'Terry's Bakery.
Awesome.
That's where, like, oh my gosh, all the cool. I remember when I was in high school, that's where all the cool girls worked at too.
That's so funny. Yeah. Oh my goodness, I love O'Terry's. They were on that baking show with that guy. I forget his name. Damn it.
Oh, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, so they got a total like remodel done to their store, and they were on TV. Yeah, it was so cool.
Yeah, they're a staple in that community.
And that's their original store. So they have like 3 or 4 other locations. But Fifth Street is their largest one, and that's where all of their baked goods come out of. So like they employ about 75 people in the community. They bake
out of that little store.
Yeah, but this is the thing. You got to see the back, like, and that's where they're baking everything that they send out to the other locations. We did a tour, and it was like the TV shows, like when you be like, you know what they do, like it was amazing. Yeah.
Where's the best place to get tacos?
Los Tacos or El Triple. So we have Los Tacos. The owner of Los Tacos also owns El Sol, the newspaper. Yeah, he's awesome, Ricardo. They have the best guacamole. Los Tacos has the best guac in the city.
no more.
I'm
a guac chick all the way.
What about pizza?
I don't want to get in trouble.
She's like that.
You can say a couple.
Mr. Pizza, which is by Fifth and Olney, they have been in the neighborhood since the 80s. So they're amazing. It's a brother and sister. It's like a TV show when you walk in there. They have the best like dynamic, but they make really good pizza, great cheesesteak. There's also Old English, if you like. I don't even know how to explain their style. Like, it's a different kind of style of pizza, but it's also really good. And they make good like meatballs and spaghetti.
You're making me hungry. We should be doing this podcast in one of the
you guys
restaurants.
Should come to Fish. Like, whenever people want to meet, I'm like, come up here. Let's go out to eat. Like, we have the best places to eat.
I honestly haven't been there in a while, but you're definitely. I mean, even if I am there, I'm usually around Fifth and Boulevard. Like I'll be at Tierra or something. But
that's what everybody thinks of as Tierra, which is amazing. Like I love.
What
Tierra.
is that?
Tierra restaurant. It's a Colombian restaurant.
Yeah, I've never been.
Oh my goodness, man!
Well, we need to expose him.
Yeah,
I'm down. Let's go.
There's some good food. That's like a restaurant. It's like a staple in a Latino community too, and it's like on Fifth Street too. It's like right after where they cut off at. Yeah. So right after Fifth and Boulevard.
I'm in there.
Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really good. And they have a little club upstairs where you do birthday party. Like you can eat and then go party.
Club,
like it's
go
amazing.
burn off all the calories.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What's your like go-to place for food? You personally.
Couple, like,
go ahead.
Yeah,
so we have Sierra Bowl. They're not on Fish Street, but they're like by 2nd and Grange. They actually just opened up a location in Center City. Best like Korean food. Not the best, but they're really, really good. Cafe Liz, it's a Portuguese restaurant by like 4th and Tabor.
Okay.
I've never had Portuguese food.
Ooh.
I don't think I have either.
They have like amazing seafood. Their salmon is like amazing. Zion's is a Jamaican place also on Tabor. And then I'm gonna say, this is so hard. I'm gonna say Peony Garden. So there's a really it's a Chinese takeout, your regular Chinese, but we did a mural on the side of her property. She's at 5th and Duncannon.
Okay.
It's amazing. If you look it up on Google Maps,
no, you're literally making me want to go there. Like again, I haven't been there, and so like at least. Well, I passed by there, randomly, but I haven't actually parked up and let me just go support a restaurant over here.
We're having food tours coming up, so
some food tours?
Yes.
That's what's up.
We do it because we have so many cool places to eat, but like people who aren't from the community, or even some people who live in the community, like if it's not something they're familiar with, they're not going to try it. So the food tours provide that opportunity for people to try something new. And so what it is we organize 4 to 5 restaurants, and we let them know how many people we're going to have, what's like their staple food, and then they make sample sizes for the group.
Cool. When's this?
The next one is going to be May 18th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right after my birthday.
Ooh, yes. That'll be a birthday present.
Yes.
I'll get that for you. That's perfect.
That's so good.
That's awesome, yeah.
So what would you say, since doing this, what's your favorite memory thus far? Because I know you're genuinely passionate about this, and I love how knowledgeable you are about just the community in general and the businesses, but what's the first thing that comes to the top of your head? Why you haven't left after 7 years?
I don't know if there's one such. I'm sure there is, but my mind is blanking right now. I would say it's genuinely the community and the people that come into our office, even if they're coming with an issue or trouble, just having that one-on-one experience with them, especially these kids that from the barbershop, they they're why I do this. Like, you know what I mean? Like, and they'll ask like random questions like, Miss Stephanie, why y'all call North Fifth Street? And like, why you do this?
So
and
curious.
And it's fun to like explain to them. We're like, we're having a cleanup, and they're like, yeah, it's important not to throw trash on the ground. I don't litter. And I'm like, that's great. Like, you should tell your friends not to litter. And they're like, yeah, whenever somebody throws something on the ground, I tell them, Miss Stephanie told us not to litter. I'm like, don't do that. I'm like, that's so cool. Yeah.
That's so funny.
That's amazing. Yeah, like,
that's the teacher
really,
in you.
It is. Sometimes it comes out. Like, I can't help it. But it's the young people, like, even like our youth advisory council, like, so we started this program with PHMC and the Advocacy Institute, and they did some really cool program called Young City Planners Initiative, where they had young people who live, work, and play in Olney to come learn about North Fifth Street and learn about what it means to be a corridor manager. And so these kids, like, they learned about our job. Like, they did strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats analysis of the corridor, and their feedback and their energy was, like, really cool. And this was supposed to be a 12-week program. And these kids, after the 12th week, they just still kept coming to our office. And they were like...
like 5 years later.
That's
like SpongeBob, like 1,000 years later.
That's exactly what it was. But it was so, like... They were just coming to tell me about their day, to vent, to ask, like, what's coming up.
With them.
Yeah. And so, like, they're still committed, like, 2 years later. And it's like... They're more passionate, and that's how the Youth Advisory Council started. They were like, Miss Stephanie, so I would say this moment, when they were like, it's summertime, like, this is when y'all should be doing more events. I was like, no, like, this is when I plan for our fall events. Like, I can't plan and do events at the same time. And they were like, well, we could do it. And I'm like, yeah, if you want to do it, like, we will support you. And so they planned these events for young people, planned by young people, and they had a back to schools out event last summer where they got donations from local stores to like have a barbecue for kids to celebrate. Yeah.
Oh my God.
And they did it in 2 weeks. Like, y'all,
my type of people.
Yeah, like, y'all amazing, right? Yeah. And then they did the back to school drive where they collected donations from local businesses to get 75 book bags and school supplies to give out to the community. And it's like, you guys, this is amazing. Like, which is why we're going to this conference in Seattle to be able to share their story and like how we activated young people to help revitalize the community.
That's so good. I mean, the fact that not only you created a space for them to kind of take on your leadership capabilities, but also on top of that, like, you're providing opportunity. Like, they're going to Seattle. Like, that's amazing. Right. I'm pretty sure, like, I mean, this is probably some of their first times just even leaving the city. So that's good.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Tell us a little bit about, like, your role itself and, like, your day-to-day, like, what, you know, challenges you face.
That's a great question. Everybody asks me for my day-to-day, and it's never the same.
Yeah. Every day is TBD. Yeah. That's my life. Like, cause so you may have like a whole to-do list, but then as soon as you get in, there's like red deadlines that come out of nowhere. This needs to be taken care
of. So my role is to manage our staff. We have a staff of 5 altogether. We have 2 sanitation specialists who clean from 5th and Grange to 5th and the Boulevard 7 days a week. They're awesome. They're guys who live in the community. They're passionate about what they do. And if it wasn't for them, Fifth Street would be a totally different place because, like, it gets dirty. Unfortunately, that's one of our struggles, is just educating people on how to dispose of trash, not to put it at the corner, and not to litter. So our guys cleaning 7 days a week they're amazing. And then we have a corridor manager, and then we have a community and economic development assistant. So I help manage that. And then it's also just like day-to-day is reporting trash to Philly 311, taking down random bandit signs, answering business owners' questions. Today we had a business owner. He's at El Sabor de Maria, which is kind of like Tierra, but a very small, like, homey, cozy version. And they're moving to a new location, and he's like, what funding is available to be able to move into this new location?
And provide access and tools for that's so good.
Yeah, so we help them apply for grants. The city offers, like, the Storefront Improvement Program, which is a grant that allows business owners to fix up the facade of their business, but they get reimbursed for half of the total project cost. They help with the business security camera program, which is cameras can be outside of your property, and the Commerce Department will reimburse half of that project cost as well. So it's a lot of just like educating and also like putting out small fires and then having the young people come in like, Miss Stephanie, let me tell you what my teacher said today.
Oh my gosh.
Are there many programs and companies that exist like yours in other parts of the city?
There are. So there are a lot of community and economic development corporations. So there's Esperanza is one, ASE, the People's Emergency Center, Tacony has one. So there are several of us like working throughout the city.
I'm like, yeah, Northern Liberties, do they have one? I'm like, I'm in here, like, help me out, let me get it.
I think there might be working to build one. Yeah.
About to move to North 5th.
You should. We got your back.
North Lib.
What have been some like big setbacks and also some big accomplishments?
That's a great question. I would say a setback. So we were previously, before this past December, we were with an organization called the Korean Community Development Services Center. So fun fact about Olney, in the 80s, it was mostly Korean. And then around the mid-90s, it started to transition. And so the Korean Community Development Services was a strong community asset. And so in October, they unfortunately told us that they no longer could manage our program. And so the funding that we get from the Commerce Department is a reimbursement. So we needed an organization that could like provide us with cash flow, So we had to find a new fiscal sponsor. And so that was a real setback.
Not stressful at all.
It was like 2 months. Like,
Lord.
you gotta find somebody else. And so luckily we were able to work with Culture Works, which has been really amazing.
The co-working space?
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh
yes.
wow! I had no idea they did that.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Yeah,
It's
they're
been a
really good
pleasure.
people. I know a lot of people that work out of there.
It's been really good. They totally saved us and like
Oh my
provide
God,
us with an
bless them.
opportunity to keep working. Yeah. In a very short time frame.
So for any entrepreneurs listening, you're still looking for some co-working space? Plug, support Culture Works.
Yes.
Support the culture.
Are they just downtown, or are they they're in the Philadelphia building? Or?
Yep, they're in the Philadelphia building. But they're looking to be more in the neighborhood, so like it was great. Like for
I
us to
love the
partner with
aesthetics of
him.
the place. It's it's beautiful in there.
What's been an awesome accomplishment? Finding that.
Yeah,
Finding
seriously,
that source.
finding Culture Works. The different events that we host, so like our winter festivals, like being able to throw a winter festival together, like even though that's not what we're funded for, but being able to put that event on. So last year we usually have it outside, but it was snowing that day, so we had to like go into the library, and they're usually not open on Saturdays, and they were able to open up for us. So I think definitely having our community partners and being able to have these events for the community, that I know kids were like, they were singing Michael Jackson songs in the library, and I know that like later on in life they'll be like, yo, remember when we were in the library and Santa was there and we got a gift?
Yeah.
And there was carols.
You helped create that space.
Yeah.
That's powerful.
So what's next for you guys? What's on the agenda?
That's a great question. We're looking to move into a different space, so expand, own property on Fifth Street. We're looking to, I'm like in grant mode. My brain is like frozen.
Bringing in the
It's
grants.
Mercury retrograde.
Seriously, I can't
Spirit
wait
of
for
our
it to be
communication.
over. Oh my goodness. Cleanups, food tours, and we're looking to become our own 501c3 and becoming an Olney CDC. So right now we're a program, but like the other CDCs that I mentioned, like Esperanza, People's Emergency Center, they have several arms within their organization. So they're not just focused on the commercial corridor, but they're doing like housing development or other things of that nature. So that's our goal, is to be one day the Olney CDC and be able to provide that, not just focus on Fifth Street, but focus on the whole community.
Okay. That's great.
What do you think it is that most businesses, any businesses listening, how they can get involved with you, or like, how you can work together?
come to Fifth Street. We have awesome space and place, a great community. They can reach us on our website at shopnorthfifth.com. They can shoot us an email at info@shopnorthfifth.com, or they can follow us on social media, on Instagram and Twitter. We're pretty responsive. And yeah, or they can just come to our office. We're at 5738 North Fifth Street, and we have an open door policy.
Anytime, 24/7.
Oh, not 24/7. 10 to 6. 10 to 6.
Okay. So you don't sleep there, dude.
No, I could, but I don't.
It probably feels like it sometimes.
Yes.
Like all business owners. Well, do you have any questions for us? Anything you'd like to learn or know or grow? Marketing related, maybe?
Ooh. If you guys were opening up a business, what would attract you to come to Fifth Street?
Ooh.
Probably that food you're talking about. It's probably like from an economic perspective, like if there's grant or money or capital to like revitalize the area, if it's going towards small businesses, I mean, that would definitely help. If I knew there were a lot of, like if I knew I had a customer base there, like a strong customer base that I could reach in an easy way, that would bring me to the area too.
Okay.
And you can do that a lot through digital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think what you guys what you guys are doing is really important. So definitely, since you can't like do like marketing aspects because you're kind of like what you're under, like branding is key, especially using social media and just kind of sharing the stories of like, you know, the people you're working with, or even if like this is something you can even have maybe someone from your youth council kind of take the lead on it, kind of be like the social media coordinator handling your digital media, so it gives them hands-on experience to also include into their resume. And then, you know, these kids are really talented now. They know how to edit videos and stuff, do all this from their phone. So, like, you know, maybe that can be something you guys bring up in your next meeting. Like, hey, like, we're thinking about, like, rebranding our social media. So, like, you know, who wants to go out to the community and kind of get interviews and, you know, just kind of, like, from these business owners and, like, you know, why North 5th Street matters and why, like, they should come, like, people should come out because, like, people, you know, they come across videos and content and stuff, like, you know, using the hashtags or, you know, like doing the location and stuff. You guys, like, what you're doing is important and that message needs to definitely be shared. So that can be something that, like, maybe you revisit with your board and just see how you can get the youth involved with that too, because I'm pretty sure they will be really excited about it. Like, you know, the fact that be the producers of, like, this web content and stuff you're curating, especially because they're already directly impacted by what you're doing. So I think you guys need to really like capitalize on the relationships you already have. And then so like people, like this is what like investors and stuff look into too. Like, you know, how is it you could be doing all this back work, but unfortunately, like if on the front end, especially this digital media era we live in right now, if people don't see it, they just kind of overlook it. Right. So I mean, you guys need to capitalize off of your social media pages, but I mean, it sounds like you have strong relationships with the community and just, you know, see, you know, can we just, you want to start like a weekly series or something, or like maybe like once every other week if it's too much or something, but like release videos of like people sharing their stories, like, you know, why you guys matter, like why the work you do matters.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah. Is there like a membership or benefits program?
We have an Olney Business Association membership program. Where it starts at like $25 for a business owner to be a part of the business association.
Yeah, put up like some kind of sign in their window.
We have some really cool decals that kind of look like the sticker that we're going to be giving out to
businesses.
Do they get
discounts or like some sort of incentive towards supporting the other businesses in the area? It's like you go to Bob's Auto Repair and it's like you get $5 off every oil change or something because you're part of the community.
We're not there yet, but we're trying to get there.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's our goal.
I mean, you guys been doing a lot. You haven't even been around for
10 years.
10 years. Yeah, you just hit a decade. So
congrats.
Thank you.
501c3 is a big deal.
It is.
I know. I'm going through it now.
She's like starts to twitch. Great paperwork.
Seriously.
That's due to that mercury.
Yeah. You're so annoying, man.
It's real.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Stephanie.
Thank you guys.
Miss Stephanie, thank you
Yes,
so much.
we appreciate you, Miss Stephanie. All you do.
It has been an absolute pleasure. So, for everyone listening, is there anything you want to leave them with? Any last message to the community?
Come to North 5th Street.
I was thinking that, but I don't want to say that. I would say definitely support your local businesses. Go out wherever you live, like even if it's not a Main Street area. If you have local small businesses in your community, go out, show them love, support them, get involved in your community, and come check out Olney. We have some really good food, some really cool people. Open mic night, second Friday. It's free, 7 p.m. at 5900 North 5th Street, and follow us on social media.
There you have it, everyone. Well, it's been an absolute pleasure, and I think we second and third that opinion of shopping small, supporting small businesses. I mean, it's the general premise of the entire show. So this hits home, and this was a great opportunity getting to talk to you and learn more about what you guys are doing and really making an impact on the community up in Olney, which now I know how to say. So thank you again.
Thank you.